From Surreal Stadium in Spartanburg, South Carolina, ESPN Plus presents college softball, and today it's a Big South battle as the Presbyterian Blue Hose take on the Spartans of USC Upstate. And a pleasant good afternoon, everyone. Welcome in. Brock Bowling, Brian Rushing with you. And Brian, we take a look at the updated Big South Conference standings. USC Upstate out to a good start in conference play. Presbyterian at the bottom at 0-2.
The preseason pundits had USC Upstate at the top of the table along with Longwood. And after what we've seen today, is what we saw yesterday and what we will see in the next 9 days will say a lot about what USC Upstate will look like by the time we get to May for the conference tournament.
As we take a look at the field, we now have the national anthem, and we'll pause for that.
And remove your hat as we honor the United States of America with the playing of the national anthem.
And the playing of the national anthem here at Surreal Stadium in Spartanburg as the USC Upstate Spartans twice yesterday, Brian, beat the Blue Hose, and it was a game yesterday, 2 games, where Upstate got out early and often and scored a lot of runs.
The Upstate Spartans have the ability to put big numbers on the board. They certainly had their hitting shoes on yesterday, winning 19-0 in the aggregate of the 2 games. This is an Upstate Spartans club. Once they get rolling, they can almost be a veritable juggernaut in Big South Conference play as it relates to their offense.
As Christine Biggerstaff got the win in Game 1, and it was Biggerstaff with 8 strikeouts in Game 1 and Alyssa Oakes with a home run in Game 2. Only 2 combined hits in this doubleheader yesterday.
Well, Biggerstaff is going to be, you're going to see what she does today, very similar to what she did yesterday, is she's going to be able to use her fastball, a rise ball, move the ball in and out of the strike zone. If she gets going early with a first pitch strike, she's going to make life very difficult on the Presbyterian hitters.
For more on this matchup, we go to the sidelines and join our reporter today, Aaron Summers.
Thanks, Brock. Over the past week, USC Upstate went 3-3. Head coach Chris Hawkins said he was extremely proud of the way that his team rebounded yesterday, taking both of those games against Presbyterian. Prior to the game, he brought his girls together and put them in a huddle. He said, "You guys are having a lot of fun, aren't you? I see you out there dancing, you're laughing." He said, "I know I put a lot of emphasis on winning, but softball should be fun. So get out there, play with the same intensity that you played with yesterday. Get in and get out." Brock?
All right, thank you, Aaron. And the pitcher in the circle today for Upstate is Christine Biggerstaff.
Brock Biggerstaff, it's going to be very important for her to continue to find the strike zone early. If she does so, she can expand on this Presbyterian club.
And there's a called strike to Johnny Petrie, and it's no balls and 1 strike to Petrie. As you take a look at Christina Biggerstaff's numbers, very impressive.
5 innings yesterday, 8 strikeouts out of the 15 batters faced, so a very solid effort from the senior.
As Johnny Petrie fouls it off, and she's down in the count, no balls and 2 strikes. Petrie batting .284 on the year, no home runs, 4 RBIs. Let's take a look at the Sunbelt Rentals starting lineup and who stands out to you.
Well, I don't know if it's a particular player that necessarily stands out as it relates to Presbyterian College. At the top of the order, they're going to have to get some people on base and try to see if they can somehow manufacture some runs early to put some pressure on the Upstate Spartans.
So Petrie at the plate so far in the series through 2 games, both played yesterday. She is 0 for 5 for the weekend, batting leadoff here for the Blue Hose in the top of the first. And she fouls that one away down the left side, out of play. And it's still no balls and 2 strikes to Johnny Petrie. USC Upstate in its first season in the Big South, coming over from the Atlantic Sun Conference, out to a great start in conference play. It's the opening weekend for the conference in softball this weekend. Upstate is a 2-0 in the league, and Presbyterian so far 0-2.
Brock, you're going to notice from, as I talked about in the pregame, the first 9 days of the conference schedule for the Upstate Spartans, with matchups this weekend against Presbyterian, a midweek on the road at Charleston Southern, and then they'll go to Longwood. A lot's going to be told about this conference schedule for Upstate in its first week and a half.
Up the middle, backhanded, stopped by Obeer at second base, but can't make the play. An infield single for Johnny Petrie. And a good start for the Blue Hose in the top of the first.
Already Presbyterian with as many hits as they had in each of the games yesterday. And this is a good start for Presbyterian. Now they can begin to do some things on the base paths, possibly move a batter or a runner over to try to see if they can break into the scorebook first in this contest, the finale of the 3-game set.
So 1 on and nobody out for Ansley Wilbanks. Tries to push a bunt down the line. That's foul. And it's strike 1, no balls, and 1 strike to Ansley Wilbanks, who bats .360 so far in the season, no home runs and 13 RBIs. There is Christina Biggerstaff, a 12-1 record in the circle this year so far, ERA of 0.69.
This is an Upstate Spartans club that can really get it going inside the circle.
Popped up bunt, and nice grab made by the third baseman, Kayla Hussey, and that's out number 1 in the inning.
Good defensive play by the third baseman there, ranging over to make the catch in foul ground to eliminate the possibility of a sacrifice with nobody down in the inning.
So 1 on and 1 out for the Blue Hose, and that brings up Macy Hyatt. And there's ball 1. 1 ball, no strikes to Hyatt, who bats .250 coming into this game today. No home runs and 9 RBIs. For the series for the weekend, only 3 at-bats. She is 0 for 3. And pops that one up, again in foul grounds. The catcher, Alyssa Oakes, able to make the grab. Tagging going to second base, and there safely is Petrie. And there's a runner in scoring position and 2 outs in the inning.
One of the things that you'll notice, Brock, about Biggerstaff inside the circle, took a look at her box score from yesterday, had the 8 strikeouts of the 7 batters that did make contact for an at-bat. 5 of them were on fly balls. The other 2 were strictly on ground balls. It's going to be her elevating the ball in the strike zone that's making a major difference for the Spartans in getting some easy fly ball outs during the course of this ballgame.
So the batter now, the cleanup hitter, Casey Gearhard, and she fouls on away for strike 1. No balls and 1 strike to Gearhard, who is batting 181 in the season, has a couple of home runs, 8 RBIs on the year. In the series, she is 0 for 4 for the weekend. And takes that one away, 1 ball and 1 strike. So Christina Biggerstaff gave up 1 run late in the game yesterday, got the win. PC with already 1 hit in this inning in this game. It had only 2 hits combined in the 2 games yesterday, and the losses to USC Upstate here in Spartanburg. And there's ball 2 to Gearhard, 2 balls and a strike.
It's a good take by Gearhard there, as she now has a 2-ball, 1 strike count, and something to where she can be a little more selective at the plate, and Biggerstaff might be able to give her something that she can drive into the outfield.
Big swing and a miss as Biggerstaff threw it right by her, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes.
It's nice to be able to lean on the express, Brock, and that's exactly what Biggerstaff did there, just basically evening the count with nothing but straight gas.
And a high heater and a strike 3. Down on strikes goes Gearhard. Strikeout number 1 in the game for Biggerstaff. And for PC, no runs, a hit, no error. 1 runner left on base. Half an inning in the books. It's Presbyterian nothing, Upstate coming up. This Big South game is brought to you in part by Hardee's, because it tastes better. Geico, Big South alumni could save even more with an alumni discount from Geico. Visit geico.com/Big South today.
The use of any and all tobacco products is strictly prohibited.
Back in Spartanburg, and the starting pitcher today for Presbyterian is Elisa Battistini, as she comes in with a record of 5-12 on the year, a 4.18 ERA. She was the losing pitcher in Game 1 yesterday, Brian. Lasted just a third of an inning, allowed 7 runs on 5 hits, looking for redemption today.
Well, an opportunity for her to square up her weekend as it relates inside the circle. The Upstate Spartans really jumped out early on her, getting 7 runs. 4 of them were earned. 5 hits in that 1/3 of an inning that she pitched, as it was just an Upstate Spartans uprising in that first inning that did in the Blue Hose in yesterday's opening contest.
Here's a look at the Sunbelt Rentals starting lineup for Upstate, and one player we'll keep an eye on is Alyssa Oakes. Had a huge home run yesterday, as she and Madison Leno went deep for the Spartans in the games yesterday afternoon. Batter is Sarah Price, and Price is batting .357 on the year. No home runs, 12 RBIs, just a freshman from Landrum, South Carolina. She is this week's Big South Conference Freshman of the Week.
Chris Hawkins does a great job of recruiting in the upstate of South Carolina, continuing to get very good talent from the upstate of South Carolina, and they continue to win on it.
The defensive lineup for the Blue Hose, and some athletes out there in the outfield, including Ansley Wilbanks, who made some great catches yesterday. Kylie Cross, a good shortstop for the Blue Hose, along with Johnny Petrie there in the middle infield as well. McKenna Helton, the batter, batting .400 on the year. No home runs, 3 RBIs, just a very consistent hitter. She has played and started in every game so far this season for the Spartans.
And she really does become a bit of a bridge for this Upstate Spartans lineup when you've got Brittany Case and Alyssa Oakes behind her. She really sort of sets the table for this club in giving them the opportunity for big innings.
For the series so far, Helton is 0 for 5, but she has scored twice, as she has gotten on base despite not getting a base hit. And that's downstairs for ball 3. So 3 balls and no strikes to Helton. Brittany Case is waiting on deck.
And you see Price over at first being hit by the pitch to get things going, and now Helton at the precipice of getting a walk here to open up the game with 2 consecutive base runners. This is where the Upstate Spartans can really drive the narrative offensively.
And there's a called strike from the home plate umpire, and it's 3-1. Yesterday, Upstate scored 7 runs in the bottom of the first inning, and it looked like it had at least 10 runs on the board. 3 runs were taken off the board due to a re-entering substitution infraction on Upstate after a bases clearing double by the Spartans. It was taken away. There's Chris Hawkins in his 25th season as the head coach for USC Upstate. Over 900 career wins, one of only 60 in the history of the game to have over 900 victories, 914 to be exact, coming into today.
He's seen just about everything at this ballpark when you make the transition from the Peach Belt Conference in Division II to the Atlantic Sun and now into the Big South Conference. 900 wins pretty much speaks for itself.
Here's Brittany Case, batting .427 on the year, 3 home runs, 22 RBIs, having a great series. 3 for 6 so far this weekend, including a home run yesterday. She has driven in 4 runs. She has scored twice.
Presbyterian, realizing that maybe Battistini off to a rough start here in the early going, has already sent Courtney White down to the bullpen box, so it'll be interesting to see how this narrative plays out. You take a look at Brittany Case and Alyssa Oakes. These are 2 batters combined, 12 homers and 50 RBI already through a little more than just the first month of the season. Those are video game type numbers on this diamond.
Breaking ball strike from Battistini. And that's strike one. 2 balls and 1 strike to Case, who leads the Big South Conference in batting average. Again, coming into today, batting .427. And that's up the middle and through for a hit. Rounding third is Sarah Price. She will score easily. The throw is wide. And Upstate out to another fast start in the early innings, up 1-0 here in the first.
And that's exactly what Brittany Case does so incredibly well, is she's able to find herself a pitch right over the middle third of the plate, drive it right back from its origination point, gets the RBI knock.
And upcoming is Alyssa Oakes, as she went deep yesterday. A no-doubter over the left center field wall.
Yeah, she really has the engine going here in the early part of the year. We saw her revving it up as she got to home plate. 9 home runs, 28 RBIs. This is where the video game numbers come up. Over an 800 slugging percentage, over a 400 on-base percentage. That's an over 1,200 OPS, which is phenomenal.
And it takes strike one, no balls and 1 strike to Oakes, batting .343 on the season. 9 home runs, 28 runs batted in.
Well, and if you add to the fact that behind the plate, she defends the position, calls the games, works with the pitchers. She really does double duty for the Spartans.
Ball in the dirt, throw down to third, and the runners move up 90 feet as Helton goes to third on the play, and Case goes to second.
And oh, by the way, the Spartans are savvy enough to take the extra base when necessary. These coming off the steal of a ball that was in the dirt.
And Oakes pops it up. First baseman Harris is there. And that's out number 1 in the inning.
Oakes trying to lift and separate a little bit, seeing if she could drive a ball into the outfield to try to drive home a run. Missed it, got under it just a little bit.
Number 4, Madison Leno.
So 2 on and 1 out for Madison Leno. Leno batting .350 on the season, 1 home run, 6 runs batted in. And takes ball 1 from Battistini. Battistini started yesterday in game 1, lasted a third of an inning. And then Courtney White came in, and then Taylor Ward was the third and final pitcher used on the day in game 1. And then Ward started and played all of game 2, despite suffering the loss in game 2.
If you take a look at the 5 batters, Brock, that make up the Spartans' opening half of the lineup, 357, 400, 427, 343, 350. This is a phenomenally good offense as it relates to hitting the ball for average. You mix in Case, you mix in the likes of Oakes, you got a lot of pop in the lineup as well.
And Leno goes to left. That ball is caught by Lyons. Tagging from third is Helton. She will score. And the Spartans, with a sac fly RBI, now lead it 2-0 here in the bottom of the first.
And Brock, that right there is an indication of the little things. When a club is going well, you get yourself the sacrifice fly out to left field. When things are not going necessarily well, as they have been all weekend for Presbyterian, you miss your cutoff man, the ball goes back to the backstop, and where it would have taken a base hit now to score Case over at second, she now moves up to third on the error, and she could conceivably score on a wild pitch here and put up another crooked number for the Spartans.
Megan O'Beer now the batter. She takes strike 1. O'Beer batting .216 in the season, 2 home runs and 12 RBIs for the series. This weekend she is 1 for 4 against the Blue Hose. She has scored twice.
O'Beer off to a bit of a slow start as it relates to the first 5 hitters in the lineup, but this is exactly the kind of day today to where she's already gotten herself in the box with a 2-0 lead. A knock here makes it 3-0, and she could be off to a very good start to her day.
And that is pulled foul down the third base line. It's strike 2, 1 ball, 2 strikes to Megan O'Beer, as Upstate again off to a fast start. 7 runs in the first inning in yesterday's game 1. And then in game 2, it scored 4 runs in the bottom of the first and the second game. So far 2 in inning number 1 in game 3 of the series. And there's a blooper that'll drop in for a base hit to right. Scoring from third is Case. And the Spartans put another run on the board. It's now 3-0.
And that's exactly what I was talking about, is Obeer there having the pitch run in on her a little bit, was able to fight it over the second baseman, gets the knock, makes it 3-0. It looks like a line drive in the scores book, but all she's got to do now is barrel another one up next time up. She's got a multi-hit game, and that's exactly the kind of thing that can get a player really rolling as they get into conference play.
And here is the 7th batter to come to the plate in the inning for Upstate, Alicia Dorgan. Late swing on that one, throw to second, and a stolen base for Megan Obeer. And for Megan Obeer, that is her 5th steal of the year in 6 tries.
And that kind of gives you an idea of exactly what Chris Hawkins can do with Obeer, as she went on the first pitch, getting down to second with the stolen base, and a knock here could easily make it 4-0.
And Dorgan fouls it away. She's batting .254 in the season, 2 home runs, 8 RBIs for the series. 2 for 5 with 2 RBIs and a run scored. As you see, Obeer standing over at second base. And a line shot caught by the third baseman, Macy Hyatt. And the inning is over, but Upstate off to another fast start. It scores 3 runs on 2 hits in the first inning, leaving 1 on base after 1 complete. It's 3-0 Upstate.
USC Upstate Athletics would like to recognize some of our proud sponsors. That's Western Plus.
Back in Spartanburg, here's a look at the defensive alignment for the USC Upstate Spartans. And who stands out to you in that defensive alignment there, Brian?
Well, I mean, you take a look at everything up the middle as it relates to this Upstate Spartans club. You look at McKenna, Helton in center field, Price and Obeer in the middle of the infield, and Oaks. That's going to be the spine or the central nervous system of your defensive alignment. That central piece right there makes all the difference for the fortune or misfortune as it regards the defensive unit for this Upstate Spartans club.
Liner by Lyons to the shortstop, Price. Oh, what a play. Diving to her left and getting up and making a huge throw to get the out at first.
Boy, if that wasn't prophetic. I mean, again, when your middle of the defense is that solid, they had her swung all the way over into the hole a little bit. The ball coming right at what would have been a normal positioning for the shortstop. You see in the replay, she gets rid of it quickly, making the diving snare. That's a phenomenal piece of defense for the Spartans.
Kylie Cross, the batter, sends one deep to right center. The center fielder, McKenna Helton, comes on and makes the grab for out number 2 in the inning.
That ball held up a little bit in the outfield. It'll give you an idea. McKenna Helton had her shaded to hit the ball toward the left center field gap. She comes ranging all the way over in front of the Upstate softball sign in right center, calling off the right fielder to make the catch. She's got uber speed in the outfield.
So 2 up, 2 down for PC in the second inning. Courtney White now the batter, the designated player, and she takes ball 1. She's batting .254 for the year, 2 home runs, 9 RBIs. For the series, she is 0 for 3. In fact, only 2 Blue Hose players have gotten hits in this series, each coming in yesterday's games, 1 in the first game, 1 in the second. Yesterday's winning pitcher right there, Christina Biggerstaff. She had a no-hitter going into the 5th inning and finally allowed 1 hit. And the game was over after 5 due to the run rule. Upstate won game 1, 11-0, and won game 2, 8-0 in 6 innings.
And the thing, Brock, that I really like about Biggerstaff, and we did talk about it earlier in the broadcast, is when she goes from fastball to rise ball, really changing the eye level for the hitter, making it doubly different. And now you see her painting the inside edge there with the strike. If she's able to pinpoint her pitches to the plate the way she's doing right now, she makes things incredibly difficult for this Blue Hose club.
Yeah, to a great start. 12 wins, only 1 defeat so far. ERA 0.69 as Courtney White whiffs on that one, and the count is full on White, 3-2.
White had an opportunity there, a hitter's pitch at 3-1. Biggerstaff just decided to elevate in the zone anyway, and the swing and a miss takes it to a full count.
And White fouls it away for a foul ball. Still 3-2. White did, as we mentioned, pitch in yesterday's game 1. Came in relief of Elisa Battistini. She lasted 2/3 of an inning, allowed 2 runs and 1 hit.
And White knows that Biggerstaff came inside with the inner third on that fastball. It'll be interesting to see if Biggerstaff goes back out now with this next pitch.
Called strike 3, right on the corner. Strikeout number 2 in the game for Biggerstaff, out number 3 in the inning. PC goes down 1-2-3 in the second. To the bottom of the second we go. 3-0 USC Upstate. Back in Spartanburg, and starting inning number 2 is starting pitcher for PC, Alicia Battistini. She's had quite a comeback in her softball career. For more on that, we go down to the sidelines and Aaron Summers.
Battistini went into surgery at UCLA 2 years ago for thoracic outlet syndrome. It's a condition where your nerves between your collarbone and your ribs get compressed, and that was causing her some pain in her arm and numbness. During that surgery, the doctors nicked a nerve that left her completely paralyzed in her right arm, her pitching arm. To see her back in this circle is truly amazing because the doctors told her it would be 10 years before she would be able to get feeling back in that arm. It took her 6 months of tapping therapy to be able to have feeling back in her fingers and her hand. And then last spring, she decided to get back out there and try pitching again. And she's pitching at the Division I level just 2 years after having her arm paralyzed. Brock?
All right, thank you, Aaron, and a good job on that story. Yeah, the coach told us that it took Battistini 3 months of therapy just to have her index finger touch her thumb. And then less than a year later, she had full mobility of the arm and was able to come back and, as she said, pitch at the D1 level. It's a good comeback story.
Well, so very important also, if you take a look at Battistini's numbers, she's the workhorse on this club as she has logged 93 and a third innings now on the season. You take a look at those types of numbers, they're going to call on her heavily to go through the rigors of this Big South Conference schedule and put up some good numbers along the way.
That's her head coach, David Williams. He spoke very highly of Battistini and just the toughness and the kind of character that she has to come back from something like that. And he said that she woke up after surgery, had a big towel around her arm, and she said, you know, what's going on? I thought the surgery was over, and they had to break it to her that they accidentally nicked a nerve and paralyzed her arm. And thankfully for her, she was able to come back and recover from that, and now doing what she loves, which is playing softball.
Well, Brock, that's what is so intriguing about the story is that transcends softball. I mean, obviously affects your everyday life. To be able to have the wherewithal to come back and now be at the Division I level playing softball, it really is a story of her will and determination.
We're here at Surreal Softball Stadium here in Spartanburg. Nice day in the upper 50s. Brock Bowling, Brian Rushing, Aaron Summers with you, and the rest of our ESPN Plus crew as Kristen Wright, the number 9 hitter, fouls one down the first base line. Full count on Wright at 3-2. She's batting .246 on the season. No home runs, 9 RBIs for the series this weekend. 1 for 4 against the Blue Hose with a run and an RBI as well. And a swing and a miss. Good breaking ball by Battistini. Out number 2 in the inning. Strikeout number 1 for Elisa Battistini.
Battistini, after a little bit of a rugged first inning, is settling in here. She gets a ground ball followed by a strikeout. And with 2 down, she'll face that vaunted top of the order for the Spartans.
David Williams, the coach, looking on in his first season at the helm of PC. The batter now to the top of the order we go, Sarah Price, and she fouls it off for strike 1. Price was hit by pitch to begin the first inning and later scored the game's first run.
Yeah, she might need 2 ice bags by the time this afternoon is over, as she has now been hit by a pitch and then takes one off the foot on the swing.
Up the middle, shortstop crosses there. Nice throw in time. Inning is over, and The Spartans go down 1-2-3 in the second inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, no one left. After 2 complete, still 3-0.